But most of the script was all about action. I was looking for a good action script, but it also had a very good meaning.
John Woo's films caught the eye of Belgian martial arts film star Jean-Claude Van Damme. The Muscles from Brussels, as Van Damme was called, was making martial arts films in Hollywood and wanted John Woo to craft his next film, Hard Target.
And Van Damme, he really loved my movies, he loved my style, and he wanted to be another Chow Yun-fat. After I read the script, I found it had a very interesting concept. The story was about the people hunting people, you know. I think it was pretty interesting. If I can make it like the modern Western, like a romantic love story, it would be nice, you know. And also like to try to make a Hollywood movie.
He just wanted to do any American film, and also because they went to Hong Kong and courted him. John, we want you to do this, and he liked that. He liked courtships.
They are trying to make me feel comfortable to work on their project. Everybody was so sincere, and it made me make the decision, you know, that willing to take the challenges.
He left. He uprooted his whole family, sold his apartment, and moved all his wife and kids to L.A. It was a very gutsy move.
那个时候是从零开始，就是从最基本的。吴宇森因为在东南亚他有一定的那个知名度嘛，那是一定的。但是到美国呢，他绝对是以一个新人的姿态出现。所以那时候呢，我们把香港的房子也就处理掉，也没有多少钱，所以带到美国去的时候，只能真的是由零开始。
It was the early 1990s. John Woo, with family in tow, found himself the new kid on the block. This was John's big break. He would be the first Chinese director to work on a big-budget Hollywood movie.
When I got to Hollywood, all of a sudden, I feel like a stranger. The first thing is you should know how to speak.
Honestly, it was a problem. It's a language. Not that it's so difficult to communicate with a Belgian actor.
For the script meeting, you know, everybody talk a lot. The writers, you know, the actors and producers, they talk a lot, you know.
The very opening shot will now be.
And then it become my turn, you know. They will expect me to make a long speech.
Comedy shot, and then the scene plays out very much the way.
You know, I was saying, and I didn't know what to say. You know, I just say, okay, I just wanted to make a modern Western. You know, that was it. You know.
But the hard target John Woo envisioned was not the one that eventually played in theaters around the world.
He wanted to make an American mainstream film, but also wanted to keep his own style.
Mike, how was the camera?
A lot of times, you know, that kind of got in the way because he tried to elevate the genre. It's a Jean-Claude Van Damme picture. People said, you know, it's a Van Damme picture. You give them what the Van Damme fans want. But John said, I want it to be a little bit more, and try to inject a lot of his style into it. And sometimes it works, sometimes it doesn't. People who go to see a Van Damme film just wanted to see him kick ass. You know, they don't care about those techniques, and so it didn't test it well. And then people ask, where are the martial arts? You know, we want to see a martial arts star do martial arts. And so we have 2 days of reshooting, have to have him, you know, kicking someone, some more.
They could never do the same thing like, you know, like a killer. For the Hollywood movie, they are pretty clear. You know, it's action is action. The action have never involved with the heavy drama. Drama is drama. They will never mix up with the action. And the comedy is the comedy. Comedy will never, you know, involve with the other thing.
Did I jump out too fast? No. It's okay.
Once again, John Woo hit a brick wall like he had in Hong Kong years before. And once again, he was determined to do it his way.
I love human drama more than action. Of course, I love action film, but my kind of action have some meanings.
But the studios weren't about to hand John the reins just like that. He had to earn their trust.
There was still a lot of skepticism, let's put it frankly. The first movie he was hired to do was a Jean-Claude Van Damme movie, which means he was not immediately hired to do a Tom Cruise movie. I mean, the implication is obvious. He was given an apprentice project to prove what he could do.
Broken Arrow was John's second American film.
He made Broken Arrow specifically in order to prove to people that he could make a movie that was totally American. American down to its bones, you know, that it didn't have anything to do with what he'd done in the past.
Broken Arrow was not the vehicle for John's style of action drama, but it allowed him to impress a charismatic actor who was to prove instrumental to his future in America.
I heard about John Woo through Quentin Tarantino whilst I was doing the movie Pulp Fiction, and he wanted me to see some of his work.
I always believe the good action should be based on the story and the character. I really didn't want to make a film just for an action.
In John Travolta, Woo found the ally he needed in Hollywood.
He knows what he wants, and he's prepared. And anyone who's prepared and knows what they want always wins out over any kind of confrontation.
The success of their collaboration paved the way for John Woo to earn his stripes as a bona fide Hollywood director on his own terms.
And that's how we got started. And then later, of course, we did Face Off.
Face Off was initially conceived as a futuristic action film, but John Woo was ready to craft it into the film he really wanted to make. A drama about family and duty, stylishly cloaked in scintillating action sequences.
Originally, it was a sci-fi movie. It's very futuristic. There's a lot of CG, a lot of special effects, you know. But I've changed the concept. I suggest cut down the sci-fi thing, and then put the focus on the drama, and also add the family value thing, into the film.
John Travolta, who was already on board, used his clout to attract another box office superstar, Nicolas Cage.
Travolta in turn talked to Nick Cage and said, oh, this is a great director, you got to work with him. And that's how Nick Cage, I mean, one of the reasons why Nick Cage went to work on Face Off. And then Nick told other actors, I think it's the word spread that way,
With Travolta and Cage locked in, Face Off, despite its John Woo-inspired non-Hollywood formula, got the green light. The film became the runaway summer hit of 1997, grossing over $250 million. John Woo had arrived.
People in Hollywood, I think, when they think of John Woo, probably still think of him as a great technician of action. What I think of is someone who took the action genre and gave it heart. A lot of what makes a director, an A-list director in Hollywood is indeed the ability to attract stars. John does have this ability to make star actors look great. Actors love that, I think. It's an action movie. Why just show a shot of a guy getting out of a car? But he is turned into a legendary figure just by the way the wings of his coat spread out in the breeze, and as he's moving along with silver guns around his waist.
I think in this movie it's very clear that although you're getting commercial entertainment in the best way, you're also, I think, getting a work of art in that this is John Woo's pure expression, which includes serious acting and character development and not just car chases and explosions. And you're getting both in this.
I came up with ideas, and John let me go with it, which is I said, what if my character misses his face and starts to admire it, and then he licks it, and then he does these threatening things in the way I asked if I could do that. And most directors would not have allowed me to go that far.
God, I missed that face.
After the success of Face Off, John Woo was clearly on his way up. He had his pick of projects, and the one he settled on was Mission Impossible 2, the action film franchise starring Tom Cruise. John lent his signature style to MI2, planting the seeds of a love story in the midst of spellbinding action.
Tom Cruise and Thandie Newton in the beginning, and they're just starting their relationship. You know, who would have thought that you would establish that relationship by two people racing in cars? But it was a little love dance there. That's John. He has great vision.
So when I'm choreographing the gun barrel sequence, and I'm using the musical, the rhythm, the camera movement, the editing to thinking of the scene, and then I'm using the beauty of the kung fu action to put it into the gunfight action.
Mission Impossible 2 took in $500 million, and John was finally in charge.
Working on Mission Impossible 2 or Face Off, you know, I also could do the change every day, you know. Even though we had a complete storyboard, but whenever I came up with some good idea or wanted to make some change, they allow me to make a change, because they also wanted to to make a good movie. We've got a lot of pressure, from work, like especially in this business. This is only my relaxing moment, and I could spend hours. I can spend 2 or 3 hours to prepare a meal. Sometimes even I can spend the whole days just for preparing, the meal. Just like cooking a meal, I also cooking with love, because I love myself, I love my families, and I love my kids, I love my friends. I put my heart, into the cooking. I just, if you really care about somebody, you will know how to make something good, for them.
John Woo next chose to make Wind Talkers, a war movie with themes that were close to his heart.
I had put my focus, on the friendship. I think that it really fit in my philosophy. Wind Talkers also was about two different kind of people. They came from a different world. At the beginning, they didn't get along. They had a lot of conflict, but during the war, they have learned how to, to love each other, and become friends,
Wind Talkers had all the classic elements of a John Woo film, but it was also richly American. It celebrated the unsung heroes of the Native American Navajo tribe who fought in the Second World War. The Navajo code talkers used their language to encrypt military codes, making them unbreakable.
I'm very proud for making that film, and I thought that film really had sent a good message. The message about friendship, the message about peace, the message about care. And it also made me learn so much from the Navajo people, one of the tribes in America. They really gave a lot of great contribution for the country. That's the real message that I wanted to say from Wind Talkers.
In 2001, John Woo was invited to the White House to honor the Navajo code talkers. Although Wind Talkers was not a big hit, it was a defining moment for the Hong Kong director, for he had helped his adopted country salute some of its finest soldiers.
I don't feel like a stranger anymore. I feel like I'm a part of the family. When I got the opportunity to go to Hollywood, there's only one word I can say: I'm grateful.